What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Inside the Crazy Ant Farm. Holy moly, episode 99 this week, guys.
99. It's so freaking crazy to think that it's 99 episodes in. We're just one away from 100.
Right? And I mean, we got some special people coming on for the 100th episode.
Oh my gosh. Big guest, Jason Ritter.
Yep.
A couple huge surprises for y'all that I think y'all are going to... Of course, we'll be announcing it next week. We'll announce the surprises next week to tease it. But speaking of huge, got a huge guest on today's show, too.
Yeah, we really do. We really do. Katherine McNamara from Arrow and Shadowhunters. I mean, this one was blowing up all over social media
my gosh,
when we announced this.
The big series finale of Arrow, like huge. So yeah, it's gonna be a lot of fun to talk to her.
Definitely. Well, your hosts for this week are myself, J-Lo Fantastic, and the one and only Mouth.
What's up?
And we're just gonna be talking everything industry news. A lot of streaming stuff this week, guys. I mean, that's where the industry is headed towards. So I mean, of course, we're gonna be talking streaming.
I mean, we should just rename this segment instead of industry news, just streaming wars.
Streaming wars.
Because it's basically all the industry news is streaming wars.
Basically.
I mean, it's crazy.
It's a lot of stuff, man. It's a lot of stuff. But, before we get this thing started, we got to plug our website, crazyantmedia.com. Make sure to head over there and click on our merchandise tab to get the latest and greatest Crazy Ant Media gear. I just uploaded the new bonk, so you can get new bonk and vintage bonk on a bonk bag together.
Vintage bonk.
It looks so great, guys. Make sure to head over there and get all your latest and greatest Crazy Ant Media gear.
It's like Superman 3, bro. It's like the new bonk is like good Superman, and vintage bonk could be the bad
Yeah,
suit.
you never know.
You put them on something together, and you're like, uh-oh,
Like,
bonk versus bonk.
That shit's funny. Oh, my goodness. But at the beginning of industry news, we have some somber news.
Yeah.
That's super crazy. Everybody's been talking about it all week. The passing of the late, great Kobe Bryant at the age of 41 in a helicopter crash. And we got to say, he wasn't the only one on the helicopter. I mean, I know a lot of people are like, but what about the other people? No one cares. I mean, I feel like the news and the media is doing a great job telling about the other people that were on the helicopter, honestly, because they're making an emphasis on showing that they do care. And I mean, yes, Kobe Bryant was this bigger than life figure, but they're also telling the stories about these other people. I mean, super crazy. It was Sunday morning in Calabasas. Like I said, helicopter crash. Bryant was traveling to a youth basketball game when the crash occurred. The Orange Coast College head baseball coach, John Annabelle, I think Altabelli, we know I'm bad at name, guys, and his wife, his daughter, Alyssa, and Sarah Chester, and daughter, Peyton, and the youth basketball coach, Christina, and the pilot, Era Zobian, were also on the helicopter, and they were also killed, which is, it's just super crazy, guys.
I mean, first of all, because a lot of people did attack about, they're only talking about Kobe, Okay, listen, guys. First of all, I think the reason that they only talked about Kobe at first is because Kobe was the only name mentioned at first on the helicopter, okay? And, they could confirm that one. There was a lot of speculation as to who was and wasn't on the helicopter. And guys, Logan and I have a background in news. I was a journalist, I was a producer, and we worked in news. And guys, you've got to verify these things by several sources before you could just report it or go on the air. Matt Gutman from ABC learned that the hard way. He was suspended this week because he initially ran with the story before getting it confirmed that all 4 of Kobe's daughters were on the helicopter with him. Now he's suspended.
Yeah.
He had to apologize. You just can't run with stuff like that. Not to mention the total disrespect, because as we learned as this story progressed throughout the week, we learned that Vanessa found out about Kobe basically, through the rumor mill before the authorities even had an opportunity to inform her about the crash and that he was involved in it. Guys, they have to notify family members before they can run with releasing of names and everything. So everybody needed to just chill the fuck out about all that.
Well, everybody was slamming TMZ this week, and I mean, rightfully so. It is kind of messed up when you have probably people texting you like their condolences and everything like that, and you're like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Right, exactly.
It's super crazy, man. And I mean, a lot of people are asking, I mean, you guys talk about movie and television news. Why is this in your guys' industry news? Well, Kobe is an Oscar winner in 2018. He won Best Animated Short for his short film, Dear Basketball, which he was a producer on. And this was the poem that he recited when he announced his retirement.
Right.
So this is why he is in industry news. He's an Oscar winner, and of course, he is a freaking basketball legend. And also, he's the first ever African American to win the Best Animated Short Film category. So
yeah, it was big. And I mean, the Academy announced, and rightfully so, that they will honor him in the ceremonies coming up in a few weeks.
Yeah.
Maybe more than just in memoriam. I don't know.
Yeah.
But definitely in memoriam, he'll be included in that. And you know, he had a promising career. I read a great article about how his second act was this entertainment career now. You know, a lot of people talk about LeBron all the time, but Kobe had a production company and had several projects in the works. He was working on a children's book even.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's a loss. It's a loss for the entertainment community, the basketball community, and just in general. And, yeah, we just want to pass our condolences to all the families involved in this crash and this tragedy. And, you know, it's a tough thing to get through. So
yeah, man, tragic loss. It really is.
Just respect the privacy. Vanessa posted on Instagram, you know, a nice long post of the first public statement, and just at the end of it, you know, after thanking everybody for all the well wishes, just said, "Hey, you know, we need some time to process. Can we have a little privacy?" And
exactly,
I think that's the best thing, man.
Agreed. Well, let's get into some lighter stuff. Let's talk about some fun stuff. Disney. Oh, man.
Yeah, do we? It's always Disney. Always Disney.
I mean,
Disney rules the world.
There's never a week that it's not.
No,
I mean, Disney Plus is everywhere. Watching it every day. All that good shit.
But
The Falcon and the Winter Soldier will be premiering earlier than initially anticipated, guys. When the series was first announced, it was believed that the drama would debut on Disney Plus fall of 2020. Well, get this. The show will now premiere towards the end of the summer of 2020, around August.
Yes, I'm so freaking pumped for this.
Right.
And then there was a release yesterday. Marvel, you know, released a little promo for, you know, Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and everybody's freaking out. Because it was a badass picture.
Yeah.
But I think it was for the comic book limited series, not the TV show, you know.
Like
although, but I mean, it was a badass picture.
Yeah.
So people were freaking out about it and all that. I'm super excited, man. And in WandaVision, there's rumors the WandaVision trailer is going to drop during the Super Bowl, and that's going to hit earlier than anticipated. And yeah, dude, I'm ramped up. And rightfully so. You think they're trying to make amends because they've canceled all this other stuff, like Howard the Duck and all the, oh shit, we better get our stuff out there, you know. I don't know.
Well, I think it's probably because it's been so slow this year for Marvel. The only one they have really coming out is Black Widow.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they were like, might as well push this other stuff up, especially if they feel like it's ready. So, I mean, I'm excited for it. I can't wait to see what happens and what to see new characters that they unveil in that series.
Yeah, and we should say, I just want to bring this up since we're talking Marvel, because I thought this was hilarious last night. We went to go see a movie last night, guys, and they had the Morbius trailer, which, by the way, looks badass. It looks like it's going to be awesome. Jared Leto looks creepy as fuck. But they said it pops up on the screen and it says, "From the people who brought you Spider-Man Homecoming and Spider-Man Far From Home." And I'm like, what the fuck? From the studio that brought you that was, you distributed it. Marvel made those movies. Exactly. Like, you know, what the fuck?
Yeah.
But the one thing, though, and you kind of see Michael Keaton, spoiler, at the end of that trailer, which implies that they are definitely, guys, connecting the MCU to the Sony Spider-Man universe. So I don't think we're going to hear many more talks about Tom Holland not being in the MCU or vice versa. I think they've come to some sort of Just in my opinion, because they haven't announced this, but I think they have come to some sort of an agreement that they are going to merge these two universes, and it's going to be badass.
Yeah, definitely.
Just saying. But I don't think they should keep putting that up on the screen until, just from the studio that brought you this and this in association with the other studio that actually made it. I'm just saying.
They were made on Disney's lot. Get out of here, man.
Just come on now. But anyway, it was kind of funny.
Hell yeah.
Miramax,
Hell yeah.
this new company. That too. I'm sorry. Just go.
Oh my goodness, what happened?
So much stuff at the movies last night. I don't know.
More stuff about Disney Plus. They're bringing back an ABC fantasy competition reality series, The Quest, with executive producers of Queer Eye, The Amazing Race, and the Lord of the Rings film trilogy. They have also ordered an adventure competition series, The Maze, and an untitled Pixar series, The Chef's Table, producers of the Supper Club and National Geographic's Meet Chip. So it's going to be interesting, guys. They got a lot of stuff coming up.
Yeah, they're hammering down on the reality TV series stuff. I mean, makes sense. It's popular.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know when this fad is going to die. I guess you can't even call it a fad anymore because it's been around for 20 plus years.
Exactly.
But for whatever reason, people are just like hooked on that reality shit.
Yeah.
And, I use the term reality loosely because, 90% of the shit that happens on that reality show is scripted.
Yeah.
So, reality, take it loosely. But, I mean, it makes sense that Disney's going to try to jump on it. Obviously, these are all going to be family-friendly reality shows. It's not going to be like Big Brother and shit. But,
it's interesting. I mean, I watched the Gordon Ramsay one they have on there, and it's funny. They definitely bleep all of his fucks.
Yeah.
It's like basically about him going around the world and trying different tribes and different people's food that they just take from the earth, which is pretty cool. But he has to go through some crazy shit, like climbing up some mountains, and he's like, "Holy fuck!" But it's "Holy bleep," and it's just pretty funny.
Yeah. That's definitely two words that I do not associate with Gordon Ramsay.
Right.
Family friendly.
No.
I don't even know how that deal went down. He's like, you're just gonna have to bleep it because I can't stop saying it.
Yeah.
So it's just, I don't know, but it is. There's some great stuff on there, though, man.
Yeah,
There's
seriously.
some great stuff on there.
Seriously, this next one's kind of interesting, though. I mean, Ron Howard, the man himself, Ronnie Howard, said that Disney Plus still hasn't made a final decision as of yet. They will on the sequel series of the 1988 fantasy feature Widow.
Willow.
Widow.
That's a whole different movie.
Hey, hold on, time out. Howard said that the scripts for the projects are pretty much complete, and that a big yes from Disney was yet to come their way, saying we're working on it, but has still not been greenlit.
Yeah, this has long been in development. There's long been talk of a sequel movie and or a series. Fans are rabid about trying to get it made because Willow was a huge hit back in the day.
Yeah. About to say back in the day. Yeah,
80s. No, it's okay that you said Widow because you weren't even around when Willow was out. So it's okay.
No idea.
But it's a huge, epic, grand fantasy film that was like a huge hit for Ron Howard. And like I said, basically since it came out, people have been wanting the sequel and everything. I think it's a good idea to move the series, not a film.
Yeah.
I think it would do really well on Disney Plus. So, and apparently he's got everything, like you said, good to go. He's just waiting for the green light, and I think that's going to happen. Yeah. I think Disney's smart enough. Willow was a pretty big hit.
Yeah.
So I think they're going to green light this thing. We'll keep our eye on it.
Yeah.
But if Ronnie says it's good to go, then it's good to go.
What's the premise? Is it family friendly? I mean,
obviously. Yeah, hugely family friendly. Think Princess Bride meets Lord of the Rings type of a thing.
What the fuck?
I'm just saying it's very back in the day epic sort of tale, It's beyond family friendly. Yeah. You'll have to watch it. Like it's definitely. I think you'll like it. Yeah. I honestly think you and Little Cam would like it.
Yeah. So we'll see.
But it's definitely family friendly.
Yeah. Oh man. Well, this next one I'm pretty excited about because well-deserved, honestly. The Crazy Ex-Girlfriend co-creator, Aline Brosh McKenna, has signed a 3-year overall deal with ABC Studios.
Yeah. This should just be standard now. Under the pact,
Yeah,
she'll
exactly.
develop projects on all the platforms, including TV and Disney Plus. It seems to be.
exactly.
You know, when they sign the deal, what they're doing, guys. They're creating projects for the streaming services.
Basically.
So, yeah, all kidding aside, though, she will do for ABC Studios and television studios. The first project, I guess, has already been set up under the deal, and it's a comedy hit, which is in development at Hulu. So, which is also part of the streaming deal with Disney. Yeah. So, yeah, kudos. I mean, Crazy Ex-Girlfriend was a huge hit, and she's a great showrunner and a creative writer. So I think that again, like we said at the top of the show, this is all streaming wars, guys. Anytime we report one of these things, they're cherry picking people or trying to find. You said it perfectly on last week's show. They're trying to find the best talent to push forward these streaming services because they need content, and so they're trying to find proven successes to provide content, and so kudos to her, man.
Hell yeah. Well, we're seeing a big actor coming back to the small screen. Let's talk about it a little bit. True Detective creator Nick Pizzolatto.
Pizzolatto.
And one of the hit HBO anthology series original stars, Matthew McConaughey, are reuniting for Redeemer,
yes,
a drama series headlined by the Oscar winner, which has landed a scripted series commitment at FX.
Yes. And again, we should say, here it is again, Pizzolatto has an overall production deal at Fox 21 Television Studios and Productions, which is Disney-owned, guys. And McConaughey closed a first-look production deal with FX and 20th TV.
I was about to say, is it now just
we're just gonna go with it. We're just gonna go with it.
No Fox.
All of the trades did not say Fox, so we're just gonna go 20th TV.
There you go.
So it only made sense if McConaughey has a deal with Fox and Pizzolatto.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. What? We're recording early today. It's okay. If they both have deals with Fox, it only made sense.
Yeah. So. I mean, of course. The Matthew McConaughey, great actor. I mean, saw him in The Gentleman last night. We were referencing that one. Pretty good film, man. Pretty good film.
Yes, Guy Ritchie, man, one of his best for sure.
Agreed. Oh boy, now heading over to WarnerMedia, and we got some big news there.
I love that WarnerMedia because the first two stories involving WarnerMedia are movies.
Yeah.
One we're really excited about. One, when we were talking off air, we're like, "What the fuck?
Yeah.
Why?" So, but first, let's do the excited one.
Excited one. Robert Pattinson's The Batman. Matt Reeves' The Batman is officially underway. They started filming in London. Story-wise, the film is starting afresh and not carrying on from Ben Affleck's work as the character. Plot details on the movie are underway at the moment. We do not know. So, of course, we know the Riddler and the Penguin are in it.
And Catwoman. Zoe Kravitz, yeah. So
I mean, like you said, it's going to be that one Batman.
Yeah, pretty early Batman. I think it's going to be, I mean, from everything we're hearing, it's going to be more of a detective story than an action story. Pattinson even took some heat over the past few weeks because he said that this Batman is not a superhero. And he was, I think, implying to the storyline that it was more of a detective story and kind of like this noir, caper, and he took some heat. People were like lit him up about Batman's a fucking superhero. Don't say he's not a superhero, So he came out and said, "All right, Batman's a superhero." Shit, this poor guy just gets hammered everything he says. But I'm excited. Yeah. It's officially underway. Zoe Kravitz is going to be epic as Catwoman, and I just think it's going to be a great cat. I'm excited. I'm excited for it.
I mean, to predict the future a little bit, I feel like it's probably going to get hammered because it's not all action. Maybe a little bit like Superman Returns, if not a little less, obviously. Just because they're expecting it to be like Christian Bale or like the other ones before it. So, I mean,
I hope not. I hope the audiences are refined enough to appreciate what it is. Yeah. Like Joker.
Yeah. I mean,
Joker was like hardcore character analysis, driven drama, dialogue, It was by no means an action flick or a super villain type, it was a character study film.
Exactly.
So I'm hoping that they can understand that going into what we think this Batman is going to be. A very character study driven film about who he is and where he comes from so I don't know.
Warner Brothers has dated this one for June 25th, 2021.
Yes,
so
that's
when you can go see it.
Not far.
No, man, not far. And not far from death is a few people on this next one.
Yeah. This one I don't know. Why do you announce Batman and then announce this one? It just doesn't make sense to me. Guys, Lethal Weapon. Yeah. You were barely alive.
Barely.
The last time a Lethal Weapon was in the theaters.
Yeah.
You okay? Apparently, guys, they're talking about a fifth one. Warner Brothers is apparently developing a fifth, and as they say, final Lethal Weapon movie. Well, I would think so, since almost everybody's near, the nursing home.
Yeah.
Although, according to producer Dan Lin, who, by the way, was the executive producer on Lethal Weapon, the TV show, okay, according to him, Dan Lin, he says that Richard Donner, Mel Gibson, and Danny Glover are all good to go. They're all coming back, and now it's all about shoring up the script and getting the script ready. Warner Brothers said they haven't greenlit the project yet, but it is in development and appears to be moving forward. So...
No, I don't agree.
I mean, is Pesci coming back?
Right. I hope this thing just doesn't move forward.
Is Anne Russo coming back? Like, I don't understand what the storyline could possibly be. Like, I don't understand.
Yeah, and I mean, we were comparing it to freaking the latest Rambo, Last Blood, or Terminator. Like, Terminator would be the high end of its success, and Last Blood, I think it's going to be around like that area, around the 20 million. It's like somewhat of a success, but obviously not the success they would want after probably spending out boatloads of money on effects and action sequences and shit like that.
Exactly. So I think this has been in the development drawer forever.
Yeah.
And then Mel Gibson had a nice little comeback, the past couple of years, and then Danny Glover saw a resurgence after Jumanji, and I think some, overly ambitious idiot pulled it back out of the drawer and said, guys, these guys are good again. Let's make a movie. And let's not.
No. I mean, we saw how little Danny Glover was actually in Jumanji Next Level.
That's what I'm saying. I don't think he's... I don't know. Mel should stick to directing, and Danny should retire. And then, he does so much charity work with Boys and Girls Clubs and all that kind of stuff. We don't need a Lethal Weapon 5.
No, I agree.
We don't need a Lethal Weapon 5.
Freaking crazy, man. But this next one, AT&T comes out and talks about the money they are spending on their content for HBO Max. I mean, in the fourth quarter, they said $4.6 billion with a B dollars. Oh my goodness! I mean, they're spending almost Netflix money, not quite, but almost.
Yeah, and I mean. The money is flying out.
Yeah.
It's revenue slowed down a little bit because they are spending so much money.
Yeah.
But I mean, he made it. Oh, excuse me, guys. Got the little sniffles this morning. Stanky did say that he understands where it's at, though. A lot of that money is being spent on focusing their content. He said programming at TNT and TBS is going to shift to more unscripted programming, more reality type stuff, more real stuff, because those networks are beginning to suffer in the ratings. And he says that the reason they're focusing all their money on HBO Max is because he understands, this is quote, understands that how the things are shifting in the industry. Mm-hmm. So, like we said, streaming, guys. It's all about these streaming platforms now. I mean, regular networks, they're in trouble, I think.
Yeah, agreed, man. Agreed. I mean, we saw it at the Golden Globes, the Emmys. I mean, network is not getting the recognition that it had in the past. Like,
No.
it's going all towards the streaming. I mean, Amazon Prime is a huge example of that. I mean, Miss Maisel and now Fleabag, like, they're just killing it, bringing in all the awards. Everybody's streaming basically whenever they want to. So, I mean, they really don't like the scheduled programming anymore.
No, it's I don't know. I would be shocked if we don't see the end of broadcast television sometime in our lifetime. I mean, within the next decade or so,
Yeah.
I could see it really broadcast television taking a dive and it just all go to streamers.
Yeah.
I can see that. And
Agreed, man. It's crazy. This next one, Viola Davis and Julius Tenen's Javi production is teaming up with HBO to develop a comedy, House of Chow, with Ken Jen. From Wilfred and Betas, who wrote the pilot and will serve as executive producer alongside head of TV development, Javi Andrew Yang, and the pilot director, Jude Yang. Davis and Tenen will also serve as EPs on the project.
yeah, and apparently this is loosely based on his real life with his experience with the restaurant and different. So, I mean, but Viola Davis, that's a hit.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, if you attach Viola Davis, it's a hit. So I think kudos to... We talk about this every week. I think your two dominant players in the new Hollywood are Disney and AT&T.
Yeah.
Which... I hate that moniker. I think they should just change it to WarnerMedia. WarnerMedia is now all the entertainment part of AT&T.
Yeah.
But I think they should just call the company WarnerMedia. Fuck AT&T. But don't cut my phone off.
Yeah, exactly.
But I think that's your
They're
two
listening.
dominant players.
Yeah.
And I mean, because they're making all the moves, they're getting all the content, and they've got the biggest platforms, I think, to put it all out there. So, man,
Now, next, from the studio that was the distributor of Spider-Man, Jason Statham and Kevin Hart are in talks to star in The Man from Toronto, which is being directed by the Expendables 3 director and the Hitman's Bodyguard Helmer, Patrick Hughes. The action comedy is slated for release November 20th by Sony Pictures.
Yeah.
Here's the premise, guys. What happens when the world's deadliest assassins, known as the Man from Toronto and Teddy, New York's biggest screw-up, are mistaken for each other in a rented Airbnb?
Now, how you gonna mistake Kevin Hart for Jason Statham?
I know.
I mean, like, it's got to be like a name mistaken identity type thing. But yeah, you know this is gonna be hilarious. If you guys saw Hobbs and Shaw, and Kevin Hart's little cameo in that, his interaction back and forth with Statham just in the bathroom and the plane scene. Like this is going to be fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
This is going to be really good.
I kind of like how Jason Statham is like stepping out of his comfort zone of the action, the martial arts, all that good stuff into this new comedy realm because, I mean, not a lot of people do that. Some people find their niche and they just stay back in their little bubble. So it's kind of cool to go past that and see what new things have to offer, especially opportunities with Kevin Hart. I mean, come on now.
Well, you know who I credit for the resurgence in that and for a lot of these guys leaving the comfort zone and trying it? The Rock.
Yeah, honestly.
Because The Rock was like this big action star who then all of a sudden made these couple comedy movies, and now he's somehow successfully found a way to merge like his I'm The Rock, I can kick your ass, but also be really funny in these movies. And so I you know, and it really, you got to go back to Arnold. I mean, was the first guy I feel like that came out of his action stance and did a couple comedies, Twins and stuff, and really said to these big action stars, "Hey, you can kick ass and be funny."
Exactly.
So I just but definitely I think the current resurgence is thanks to The Rock.
Yeah.
You see Batista doing it, and like now Statham, and like, hey, we can be funny too. You know, so it's working. I love it. I think these movies are great.
Exactly, it's awesome to see. Sony is also tooling with the idea for the franchise reboot of The Crow. I know, right? I'm not excited about this one.
No.
Placing the project back into active development. and there are now writers, directors, and actors who are currently attached to this version of the project. There's no official timeline of the reboot or of the new project yet.
Oh, yeah, no. I mean, it would basically take sacrificing one to get this made, I think.
Exactly.
You know what I'm talking about. Yeah, it's just, guys, this has been in and out of development for years. This is one where I think you just need to let it lie.
Yeah. I think this is one of those projects that is just like cursed, obviously.
Yeah. I mean, and look, they finished The Crow, okay? Yeah. Even with Brandon dying and all the kind of stuff. Just let that be the legacy. Mm-hmm. I just think to try to come back and revisit it, you're not going to get a better Crow than Brandon, in my opinion. And it should be left alone. There are certain things you shouldn't go back and revisit.
Agreed, man. Agreed. In some sense, do you feel like it's disrespectful?
I do.
Because this was the one that he was trying to branch out and become like his own person, trying to separate himself from his father. So yeah. I feel like it is somewhat disrespectful. I felt like it was respectful to finish The Crow, but to go back to it, I feel like is unneeded.
It is. It's completely unneeded. And jumping over to ViacomCBS, and speaking of things that might be unneeded,
yeah.
Paramount is developing 2 new, wait for it, Transformers movies. Yeah. That's right. These franchise that will not die. Of the 2 projects, one by Independence Day Resurgence writer James Vanderbilt, and the other one's going to be done by John Wick, Chapter 3 executive producer and Army of the Dead scribe Joby Harold. Yeah. Okay, the second one by Joby Harold, it's going to be based in the Bumblebee universe. Mm-hmm. I'm okay with this. If you're going to keep just, hammering this nail, I'm okay with this one because I really enjoyed Bumblebee.
Yeah.
It's good. Kind of a prequel to the Shia LaBeouf Transformers movies and eventually leads up to the Shia LaBeouf movies. So if you're going to continue that, I think it would be pretty cool. It was epic to see like actual old school Optimus Prime at the end of the movie and everything. Yeah. Kind of a thing. So if you're going to just keep doing it, all right, that one's okay. The other one though,
unneeded.
Yeah, the Vanderbilt one, that one's going to be based on the Beast Wars, Transformers Beast Wars. I hated the fucking cartoon, so I'm definitely not wanting to go see the movie.
Yeah.
Is that necessary? Do we need a Transformers movies about Transformers that like turn into animals? And what's the premise of that one gonna fucking be? Like I don't get it. I don't understand. Like,
our opinion, not needed. Just saying.
No. Just stick with the Bumblebee stuff and
Exactly.
And look. Do a couple of more of those, get it up to the Shia LaBeouf first Transformers movie, and then stop. That's my opinion.
Exactly.
That's my opinion. So you got 2-3 more in you to get it to Shia LaBeouf's movie, and then stop.
Exactly.
All right. That's just me though.
But the whole thing's franchises now. Everybody's trying to mimic Marvel. So.
Yeah, it's true. They want to build these universes. Remember, there's all kinds of talk of taking other Hasbro stuff and merging it into the Transformers universe. No. Just don't.
It's so funny.
Nobody wants to see G.I. Joe and the Transformers together.
No.
Well, okay, maybe somebody does, but not the majority of the people don't. We don't want to see it. Don't do it.
Goodness. So this next one's kind of exciting because I love this guy. Raymond Romano has booked a guest star appearance on Pop TV's One Day at a Time.
Yeah, this one shocked me.
Yeah.
I'm like, Netflix bailed on One Day at a Time. Mm-hmm. Shows up on Pop. How many people even have Pop?
Exactly.
So to land Ray Romano, I was like, what the fuck?
Right.
What? More people will have Pop now.
Yeah. Definitely something to attract them to the series and to the network. Romano will appear in the premiere episode of season 4 as Brian, a 2020 U.S. Census taker who takes the Alvarez household to he interviews the family.
Right.
So it's going to be interesting, man. I don't know if anybody else has seen his appearances on James Corden and Jimmy Kimmel, where he literally asks random girls out for his sons because both of his sons
Yeah.
either work for Kimmel or Corden as producers. So
Interesting.
he brings them out and asks girls that are in the audience on a date for their sons. It's so freaking funny, and
It's
it's crazy how strong their genes are too, because they look exactly like Ray.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah. I mean, but like you said, I love Ray Romano.
Yeah.
I think he's just one of those brilliant, dry comics.
Yeah.
You know, he's just very dry, just very
Exactly.
real, but it's funny as shit.
Yeah, I mean, the only person that I would have put above him was Jason Ritter in Parenthood. I wanted.
Yeah, yeah. Not a fan. Neither of us is a fan that Jason Ritter didn't win that battle between Ray Romano
Yeah.
for Lauren Graham's heart and Parenthood.
Right. Like, I liked Ray Romano's character. Don't get me wrong, but I really like the chemistry.
You only liked him because he was a photographer.
I
think that's the only reason you like.
He was a good dude. He was a good dude.
He was a good dude, but so is Jason Ritter.
I
I'm
know.
just saying, man.
Oh my goodness! Tease the little 100th episode. Jason
Yeah,
Ritter's
he
gonna
talks
talk
about
it.
that.
Yeah.
He talks about that, and it's pretty funny, man.
Hell yeah.
It's good stuff. Oh, you're happy about this next one, right?
Very
Matt
much so.
LeBlanc, the
Even
friend.
more so to try to get him on the show.
Yes, yes, even more so. Man with a Plan. As you guys know, he's had a hit with that for the last few years, and it's been renewed, coming back for season 4. And a new sitcom, Broke, starring Jamie Campbell and Paulie Perrette. Both are going to join the schedule on April 2nd. So, Man with a Plan coming back for the 4th season. That's awesome.
Yeah, good for him, man. I mean, steady work. That's all that matters. And I mean, he seemed to have found his niche in the TV game.
He has.
So good for him. I mean, continued success. He deserves it. Come on the show, man.
Definitely, definitely. I mean, and I was happy because, Joey missed.
Yeah.
The spinoff kind of, so, and it took a couple of tries for him to find something that clicked, but it's good to see him back on and having so much success with it.
Yeah, exactly. This next one's kind of interesting because, the Denzel Washington, the Equalizer series, like the 2, were pretty decent, but now CBS has given a green light to a series that's going to star Queen Latifah.
Yeah. Remember, we talked about this on I don't even know how many episodes. When they first talked about it being into development, apparently CBS liked what they saw, so they're greenlighting it to go.
Yeah.
For anybody who doesn't know, Logan, because he's a youngin'. This show was way back, late 80s, early 90s.
Yeah.
It was about an old white guy that was the Equalizer. And so it was reimagined with Denzel Washington, all those years later in the movies. And now it's being reimagined again with Queen Latifah.
Yeah, right.
I don't know. I was in the TV show was okay.
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't like a can't miss television by any means, but I liked the films. I really liked the Denzel Washington films. Too. So
I loved his interpretation of the character, and their background, like his story background with his family. I loved all that.
Yeah, exactly. And the second one did pretty well, just like the first one. So I'm kind of wondering why they chose to go the TV route with it, and not just keep making more movies.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Good for Queen Latifah. It's been given big pilot production commitment. It's considered a shoo-in, they say, for a pickup. So I guess they did kind of the whole premise, or was just, I don't know.
Yeah.
My question is, I haven't seen many details. Is she going to be playing the character that Denzel played? Or is it a different character that's in this world, that's somehow connected? Because it would be badass if it's maybe a different character and Denzel shows up.
That'd be cool.
Kind of a thing. Maybe they're all connected in Denzel's world here, and it's more of a spin-off as opposed to a reboot.
Yeah,
that would be cool. Definitely. But I don't know. We don't know yet.
Right.
All speculation.
Yeah, exactly. Other big notable names making TV deals. Jessica Biel is moving on her overall TV deal. The actress and producers Iron Ocean Productions banner has signed a 2-year first look deal for Paramount Television, and the company's previous overall deal was with Universal Content Productions. Under the Paramount Pact, Bill and her partners will create and develop scripted television projects for the studio.
Yep. It makes you wonder, though, why she bailed from Universal and jumped to Paramount. So, that's interesting.
Creative differences, as they all say.
We like Jessica, though, and, so we should say her company, Sinners on USA, the company was behind the creation of that. Mm-hmm. So, they've had some hits. Yeah. So we'll see what she does over at Paramount.
Definitely. And I mean, can something be saved? I don't know if this one can be saved.
I liked Saved by the Bell, so I
did too.
I'm excited about this, and then yet skeptical about it, because you just don't know. Is it gonna? Sometimes, remember Saved by the Bell, the college years.
Yeah, I was not a fan of that. And I wasn't a fan of like the Getting Married in Vegas movie or whatever. Like just the high school ones. Yeah, but as you guys know, because we've talked about it, the Peacock. Insert worst name for streamer, has rounded out its cast for the upcoming Saved by the Bell reboot. Yep. In case you guys hadn't heard, they are rebooting this for Peacock. Zach is now the governor of California. Right. He's got a kid. So they've rounded out the cast. They're adding Haskiri Velasquez from The Birch, Mitchell Hogg from Harriet, Alicia Pascual Pena from Chase, and Belmont Camelli from Empire. Vesquelis plays Daisy, a smart, ambitious sophomore who's excited at the prospect of attending Bayside High after her local school gets shut down. Hogg plays Mac Morris, yes, Zach's son, the handsome, charming, privileged son of Governor Zach Morris. Pascual Pena plays Aisha, Daisy's fun-loving but ultra-competitive best friend. She grew up playing on boys' sports teams and causes a stir when she tries to play football at Bayside. And Camelli plays Jamie Spano, captain of the Bayside football team, and Jesse Spanos, yes, Elizabeth Berkley's coming back, sensitive man-child son. Slater's going to give her shit for that. Yeah, definitely. Mario Lopez is also coming back, guys. As I said, Elizabeth Berkley, Mario Lopez, and Mark Paul Gosselaar all have signed on for it. Mark Paul, I guess, in a limited role because of his work on Mixed-ish. He wasn't able to commit to a full kind of a thing. But, as the governor, I'm guessing you're going to see him travel back and forth from Sacramento or something like that. I don't know. And if you guys don't know what the premise is, it's about lower income schools being shut down and these kids being bussed over now and going to Bayside High kind of a thing. So it deals heavily with the education system and what's going on in California and stuff like that. So, it's going to be interesting. Yeah, sure.
It's a great cast. Yeah. They've got a lot of young, talented kids, that are going to do phenomenal. And, I don't know.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting, man. It's going to be interesting. There's a lot of... Hey, we're just going to have to see it. See it to believe it. Don't judge a book by its cover. As they say, let's just start reading. So can't wait for this thing to come out so we can start reading.
Sure.
Lionsgate. They're doing some stuff.
Kelly Berglund from Now Apocalypse is set to lead opposite Stephen Amell and Alexander Ludwig and Allison Loaf in Heels. If you guys haven't heard, Heels is this new wrestling show that Amell's getting ready to star in with Dusty Rhodes. Yeah. That's coming. So interesting. They're casting up for it. It's going to be a 8-episode, hour-long drama set in the outrageous world of professional wrestling. I think Amell got his little fever on there when he was doing the wrestling things at WWE. So it's gonna be interesting.
Yeah, and it's gonna be even more interesting because it's on the independent level. So it's gonna be more about how these stars rise up to the ranks. Because there's sometimes they would just come in and it's only a 50 crowd people with a ring. Right. So it's going to be really interesting, and I bet this is going to be a huge weight off of Amell's shoulders, not going to have so much stuff, so much fandom on top of him. Right. Just breathing down his neck the whole time.
Exactly.
Which is okay because, much appreciated. He is a great Arrow. But, obviously it's had some effect. So.
Oh, absolutely. And have we seen the last of him? He said, in his interview recently that he needed a break.
Yeah.
If you watch the finale, you know they kind of set him up. He's still there.
Yeah.
He's still in some sort of a weird, funky heaven existence. He's
Yeah.
still there. So do we see him again? Maybe, maybe not. Who knows? But I am excited. I think your description was great of this show. I wonder if it's going to be very reminiscent of Mickey Rourke's The Wrestler.
Mm-hmm.
Remember about the ups and downs of professional wrestling and what it can and can't be? Sounds like it, right? So should be pretty interesting.
Definitely, definitely. Now this next one, I'm surprised Disney is not in talks because they were talking about how they would want to buy the James Bond series of the franchise.
Right, you're right.
I don't understand. MGM has said that they want to sell. They want to, but Apple and Netflix are the top bidders right now.
Yeah, MGM came out of bankruptcy in 2010, and apparently their current owners, have been shopping the studio around. You guys, if you remember, I mean, MGM was the shit back in the golden age of Hollywood, the 20s. Like MGM, Louis B. Mayer, that's where you wanted to be.
Exactly.
That was they were the Disney. Mm-hmm. I mean, and so to see it kind of fall. I mean, great documentary hosted by Patrick Stewart, MGM When the Lion Roars. Yeah. Kind of shows all that history, but to see it fall from graces like it did, and to think now it's only valued at $10 billion, like that's just crazy to me. It says, though, that it still owns the rights to Rocky, RoboCop, and James Bond. So, I mean, they've got some franchises that make some money, so they still own that. And this is the interesting thing, though. Despite releasing its first film, like I said, in the 20s, 1924, it only owns the rights to movies released after 1986.
Oh, wow.
Because it sold all of its pre-1986 library to Turner Entertainment back in the day. Remember, I mean, all those old MGM films showed up on Turner Classic Movies and stuff like that. So, translation, guys, WarnerMedia owns almost all of their library. So, it only... why aren't they in the bidding?
Yeah, exactly.
Why aren't they trying to go so that they own the entire MGM library? I don't know.
Exactly, man. Exactly.
Who do you think wins, Apple or Netflix?
Apple. Honestly.
Apple has more money.
Yeah,
so.
They have more money, and honestly, I think they need it more, to be honest, because I feel like Apple TV Plus isn't the success they were hoping that it was going to be. So, hopefully, I mean, we'll see what happens.
Good point.
And I mean, they got a lot of controversy with some of their films, so it is what it is, man. But I mean, speaking of Netflix, and I really hope this is the right name of this production house. Netflix has signed a multi-year overall deal with the animation studios Titmouse.
Yes.
To produce multiple original adult animated series. I mean, we just talked about last week how they're advancing more into their anime games.
Yep.
So, I mean, this comes underway of that. So, congratulations to them. That's awesome.
Yeah. They've partnered up before, right? Like on several of the series, Big Mouth and Brutus Pink. So they're familiar with each other. It only makes sense that they enter into this big old long deal.
Exactly.
So yeah, boy, they're making a hard push towards adult. I think, they saw the success of BoJack Horseman and so many of these other adult comedies that they're like, fuck it, let's keep going. So.
Yeah, definitely. This next one, I mean, who doesn't like international spy thrillers?
Right.
I mean,
this is just in case they can't get the James Bond library.
Exactly.
Exactly. Margarita La Viva is set to headline In From the Cold. And now, when I read this premise to you, it's going to sound very familiar, but we'll say. In From the Cold, an international spy thriller drama with a supernatural bent, which has received an 8-episode. What is the deal with these 8? Give us 10, guys.
At least.
Give us 10, man. 8-episode series ordered by Netflix. During a European vacation with her daughter, an American single mom's life is turned upside down when the CIA forces her to confront her long-buried past as a Russian spy who was also the product of a highly classified KGB experiment granting her special abilities.
Interesting.
If I'm making my elevator pitch, the first half of that sounds very much like Alias.
Yeah.
The second half of that sounds very much like Black Widow.
Yeah.
So if Alias were to meet Black Widow, you've got this show In From the Cold.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying. Will it be good? Will it not? I don't know, but the premises seem really familiar.
Yeah.
This next one, this one sounds really interesting to me because I wasn't really sure what this was because I'm not young. J-Lo probably knew what this was. Amazon is set to explore the strange phenomenon of Los Angeles hype beast culture.
Oh.
The streamers issued a 2-season order for Fairfax. It's going to be an animated series which follows 4 middle school best friends on their never-ending quest for clout on LA's titular Fairfax Avenue, the pulsing heart of hype beast culture. For anybody who doesn't know what hype beast culture is, apparently it's this huge phenomenon in LA, especially in this district and on this street, where the kids are like hardcore trying to elevate the game, the fashion game, kind of a thing. So I had never even heard of this, but the idea of an animated series about it sounds pretty interesting. Again, we go back to Amazon is killing it with originals, man.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, so much stuff that's trying to draw in all sorts of life or all sorts of walks of life to their audience. So, I mean, congratulations to them. I think they're doing basically everything right for a streamer, honestly.
Yeah.
I just think they need to make their platform more user-friendly. Other than that, like, Amazon Prime is on point.
They are just absolutely killing it. Now here's the interesting thing. Titmouse is partnering with Amazon on this show.
Oh,
and
see?
this deal was announced just a couple days after the Netflix deal.
Yeah.
So Titmouse ain't playing.
No.
They're like, we'll just go where anybody pays us.
Exactly. They're everywhere, man.
So, but I'm excited about that. Amazon just continues to keep killing it, man.
Yeah, seriously. And I mean, we were talking about Apple a little bit earlier. Former Starz programming chief Kamari Zalink has moved over to Apple with a production deal. She's been with Starz for over 10 years, which is crazy. It's really crazy to see when people jump ship after that long. She will leave the pay cable channel at the end of January, or his deal with Apple begins next month at Starz.
Yes.
Or at Apple.
Yes. He. We don't judge. We don't judge.
Whatever.
Look though, seriously, you and Lil Cam are huge fans of Power.
Yeah.
And they've had a lot of huge shows on Starz that kind of like elevated the game on that network under this guy. I mean, Power, Outlander, American Gods, White Queen, Magic City, Power Book 2, Ghost, like so many of these huge hits. So this is going to be a loss for Starz. There's no doubt about it. This guy was talented.
Yeah, exactly.
And Apple needs him.
Yeah.
I mean, Apple's had a subpar response to their new shows. So I think they're looking for a guy, once again, Streaming Wars, that is proven that can come in and juice it up a little bit, man.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we got to see what happens. I mean, good pickup, honestly. Good pickup because, like you said, been involved in so many projects, so many series, especially for that long of a time. So he knows the industry and what edgy content people like. And I mean, Apple needs some edge.
I think so. Yeah. I think so. The question is will Tim let him do it?
Yeah.
Because remember, there was some skepticism there that they wanted to keep it family friendly and kind of like, so I don't know, man.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting.
Are you ready to get physical?
Oh,
Let's
God.
get physical. Apple nearing a series order for Physical, a dramedy. Now, okay, you guys remember from the 80s, Olivia Newton-John, Physical, Let's Get Physical. That's obviously what I was referencing. Okay, this premise sounds exactly like the video. It's a dramedy headlined by Rose Byrne, which we love Rose Byrne. Yeah. She's fantastic. She's just one of my favorite actresses. Come on the show, Rose.
Definitely.
It's going to be her first regular role on an ongoing series since Damages. Wow. Let's see. Dear John, it's from the creator of Dear John, which was a huge hit.
Huge.
Physical is set in 1980s. Go figure, because that's when the song came out.
Right.
Southern California beach community. It follows a woman struggling in her life as a quietly tortured housewife who finds an unconventional path to power through an unlikely source, the world of aerobics.
Oh.
Yes, let's get physical. Yeah. She's going to have the headband and the
right,
leotards and like just like Olivia Newton-John, or I don't know. It sounds interesting. I mean, this is one of those premises where it could, if done right, probably be really great, you know? if done poorly, it could be a bomb for Apple. I don't know.
Exactly.
So,
agreed. I mean, but there's always that 80s nostalgia that people love. I mean, you love the 80s nostalgia. Every time you watch the Goldbergs, you're like, oh, that's my time.
Yeah, I fucking love the Goldbergs because it's my childhood. Just like right there, like my entire childhood, Goldbergs. It's fantastic.
It's so good, so good. But man, that was great. That was great industry news. That's packed, really.
That's a packed streaming wars. Everything you need to know.
Basically.
That's going to be the next Transformers. Transformers streaming wars.
You're right. Yeah. Like, they're just going to like pop up on TVs and shit.
Robots that turn into film studios. Right. It's going to be fantastic. We don't know. It's going to be great. It's going to be great. Somebody just heard that and is already writing it. It's fucked up.
So funny. But now it is time for our guest segment. We got the one and only Katherine McNamara coming on the show. And man, not only is she talented in the television and film game, guess what, guys? She graduated high school at 14 and graduated college at 17.
Yeah.
Very intelligent individual and just an amazing soul with all of her charity work. And not to mention all the amazing project she has been on, like Arrow, Shadowhunters, and so much more.
Yeah, and this woman just exudes positivity and just like, inspiration for people. Like, I mean, wait until you hear this interview, guys. Like, if you are having a bad day, Katherine McNamara will cheer you up.
Definitely.
Like, she is just so positive and upbeat about life. She has such the right attitude about everything.
Yeah.
This is a fun one, guys.
Agreed. Well, here she is.
Katherine McNamara, welcome inside the Crazy Ant Farm. How are you today?
Thank you so much. I'm pretty well. How about you guys?
Oh, we're doing awesome.
Fantastic.
Doing awesome. Congratulations, first of all, on a huge year. I mean, you have just absolutely been killing it all year long.
Thank you.
You're welcome in the crossover. Oh, my goodness. That's so awesome that you were involved in that. So we're going to talk all about that kind of stuff because we've just got so much to ask you about the two huge shows that you're a part of. But what we like to do first is kind of introduce you to the listeners a little bit and tell them a little bit about your background and how you got started in the industry and everything, because it wasn't something you really wanted to do at first, right? Your plans were in another direction, right?
Yeah, I had very different plans for my life, but happily ended up here. No, I loved math as a kid, and then eventually as I started going through school and learning about the different subjects, I discovered the real-life application of mathematics through economics. And just the fact that the puzzle of math could be applied to the greater world to explain these different, topics and these different phenomena and things like this.
Oh, absolutely.
Ultimately, I was able to just discover a whole new world in that sense, and decided that's what I wanted to do with my life. So my plan was to become an economist, and particularly in developmental economics. And then I was a dancer as a kid, and was the kid who would try anything. So I ran into a family friend who was directing a community theater show and needed a dancer. So I said, sure, why not? Sounds like fun. And ultimately I had one of those rare moments of clarity when I stepped on stage. And from that moment on, I never had a doubt in my mind that I was put on this earth to tell stories.
Oh, that's awesome. I mean, it's crazy how it works, right? You think you have this set plan, you think you know what you're out to do, and all of a sudden, no, it changes, right?
It's very interesting. The more people I talk to in this industry, no matter what part of the industry they're in, be they actors or directors or writers or whatever it is, we all stumble into this somehow. Some of us more directly than others, but ultimately there's a moment where we all realize that, we belong in the crazy carnival that is the entertainment industry.
Right, I like that.
I love that crazy carnival. And it was young for you. I mean, we should applaud you. By the way, you speak of education and stuff. Graduated high school at 14, college at 17, and do you have the master's yet? I know you were working on the master's, right?
I don't have it yet. I was working on it, and then Shadowhunters got very intense, and then I jumped into Arrow. So I've taken a little bit of a sabbatical.
Completely understandable.
I'm getting back to it now.
Well, congrats on that. I think education is a wonderful thing, and it's so nice to see somebody accomplished like that. And I mean, the world needs more of that. So congratulations on that as well.
Thank you. Yeah, it's something that my whole family's in science and medicine, so education has always been a huge priority, and it's something that I've always loved, and I give that love the inspiration for that love as a credit to my family and to my very first teacher, who saw this kind of spark and love for learning in me, and she fostered it. So it's something I've carried with me.
Oh, wow, that's great. I mean, and what was that like, telling your family that you wanted to kind of take a different direction with your life to go on with acting and the arts rather than the finance side?
Well, I was 12.
Yeah.
They just kind of said, well, sure, kid, do whatever you want, as long as you stay in school and go to college and do all of that, so you have a plan for your life if this doesn't work. But they were very supportive and really allowed me to do whatever I want and follow my heart. It was very sweet, because a lot of them are in, obviously more clinical fields and don't necessarily understand the entertainment industry.
Mm-hmm.
And
right.
My mom in particular, when I first started, she would check in with me every couple weeks and go, are you sure you're still having fun with this? You're still enjoying this, right?
Just making sure you're good. Yeah.
Completely
We have so
understand.
many kids that didn't love what they were doing, but were doing it just because it's what they always had done.
Right.
And she wanted to make sure that I was doing it and didn't feel like I had to do it at any point, which I actually really appreciate.
Absolutely, and completely understandable. She didn't understand. There's a lot of people in the industry that don't understand the industry, so
Yeah.
I mean...
Well, I'm still trying to figure it out.
And you say, it's so funny you said 12, because, man, you were really, like, young when you started. 13 when you made your Broadway debut. Like, wow, that's impressive. Your professional Broadway debut, right?
Yeah, that actually happened quite by accident as well. I always say that I've just kind of followed whatever opportunities have stumbled onto my path and just seen where they take me. Because that happened, I worked with a woman in Kansas City who was from New York, and she went off to do this show, Little Night Music, and they ended up needing an immediate replacement in the show, and she was kind enough to say, hey, there's this girl in Kansas City that I worked with that might be right for this. So I get a random phone call saying, hey, do you want to come audition for this Broadway show with Catherine Zeta-Jones and Angela Lansbury in 2 days?
Wow.
And I'd never been to New York, so I said, well, sure. And I'd love to see New York and go audition for a Broadway show, just to say I've done that once in my life.
That's
Absolutely.
crazy.
Angela Lansbury and Catherine Zeta-Jones, like 13, and that's who you're like auditioning
Yeah,
to go
right.
work. That's it's so insane.
And then a week later, I was living in New York working with them. And,
Oh my
6
goodness.
months later, they left the show, and Bernadette Peters and Elaine Stritch came in. So,
Wow.
within a year of my life, before I'm 15 years old, I'm working with 4 legends, leading ladies of, theater and film, and it's just bonkers.
Yeah, seriously. And I mean, especially being that young with those, like, A-list people, did they pass on any advice to you, especially being that young? I can imagine so, right?
Quite a bit. Even just in observing them, I learned so much, because they were all so different, but also commanding in the way that they worked and the way that they interacted with everyone, and they were just the most kind and gracious and wonderful human beings. But, I learned different things from each of them. I spent the most time probably with Angela and with Elaine, because most of my scenes were with them. And just sitting in their dressing room between scenes and listening to their stories and asking their advice. And, Elaine used to take me to the set of 30 Rock on Mondays when the
nice.
theater was dark. And it was so much fun to watch these, women that had been in the industry for decades and go, yeah, when I'm in my 80s and 90s, I want to be doing 8 shows a week on Broadway.
Well, and
it can be done.
Absolutely, and we should mention you're also a musician and songwriter. You play the piano and the guitar. So Broadway and being on stage and musicals, I'm guessing that would be something I could see in your future without doubt.
Definitely.
Oh, for sure. It's funny because I started in theater in Kansas City and then going to Broadway. I feel more at home on a stage than I do pretty much anywhere else.
That's okay. And I got to ask though, because 13, and I really want to get into this a little bit, because there's a lot of our listeners that are trying to get into the industry, and so we always kind of like to talk about stuff relevant to that. And you have been very successful to make the transition kind of from a young age into young adult and avoid the pitfalls, if you will, or the dark side of the industry a little bit. Talk a little bit about that and how you've been able to do that, because I think it's dangerous sometimes for children that get into it and they get caught up in all of the drama and everything. How have you been able to avoid that?
Actually, I'm really glad you asked this, because I've seen it happen, and I've been witness to it. People I know, good friends of mine, things happen in this industry. It's wonderful and it's glossy and it's fabulous. fabulous and it's glamorous, but it also has a dark side. And I think that's something that's very important to remember. You know, if you love this for the work, and if you love it for the time and the effort that it takes and the blood, sweat, and tears that you pour into every project, that will carry you through. And I think that's largely what carried me through, is I'm here for the work, and I'm here to create things and to tell stories, and, you know, not necessarily to get involved in anything else. And I also have been very lucky to be surrounded by people that are there to remind me who I am and to remind me why I'm here. And, you know, I do the same for them. If you try and surround yourself with real people who are genuine and honest and authentic, which is harder to do sometimes than others in this industry.
Sure. Imagine.
But you have to constantly check yourself on, you know, the people you're surrounding yourself with and the situations you're getting yourself into and why you're doing what you're doing. And if you remain focused on the creative pursuit and on the work and on sort of genuine, authentic people, and people that make you feel good about yourself and not people who tear you down or people who tell you you have to be something you're not. And I think so often people get caught up in trying to be what they think they're supposed to be, and they lose that spark of what makes them special and that reason they began and that thing that inspired their passion to begin with. And you know, if you surround yourself with people that are there for you and who love you for who you are, not, you know, what they think you can do for them, that's the key.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we hear time and time and again from a lot of our guests, like, it's all about having a really good support system in this industry that's filled with rejection. I mean, we hear all the time, it's like 90% auditioning and 10% actually acting and being on set. So who would you say is your biggest supporter in your circle?
I would say that my family is my biggest support. You know,
Awesome.
I'm very, very lucky to have an amazing family full of a lot of women who have been adept at balancing career and family. So I grew up with these women who are scientists and nurses and doctors and professors and all of these incredible things, but they were also mothers and sisters and cousins and aunts and grandmothers, and these people that the way they presented life to me, it was never a question of career or family. It was always, yeah, you're going to have to work hard and it's not always going to be easy, but if you really want something, you can make it work.
Absolutely. Women empowerment.
Yeah, seriously.
It's so good to hear, because
and that to me was always so inspiring, and, you know, they've continued to support me in that as well, and yet, you know, they give me more trouble about things that I do than anyone else, and remind me that I'm still just that little kid from Missouri, and I love them for that.
Oh, that's so awesome. I think your mentality, though, of the way you just said and the way you approach things and how you did it, it had to play heavily, because let's jump into this stuff. You have now been associated with 2 projects where fandom is involved, and the hype and the hugeness of these things. I have to imagine the mentality that you had helped immensely going into that, because I could see where that could spiral out of control for some people and maybe be a little overwhelming for some. Let's talk Shadowhunters.
Yes, please.
Talk about some pressure, right? I mean, the movie kind of came out and it didn't do so well, and they were supposed to have a sequel, and then they didn't, and they're like, hey, let's reboot this for a TV series, and then you find out, sure, we're going to do that, and we're going to do it right on the edge of Freeform, you know, the name brand change, and it's going to be the first series announced on the new Freeform. Had to be a lot of pressure, right?
It was certainly, I wouldn't necessarily say pressure, but it was definitely responsibility.
There you go.
You know, I grew up loving young adult fiction and just books in general as a method of storytelling. So I knew how much kids attach to these characters, and I know that feeling when you have this character that you just love and this world that you're obsessed with, and just you want to see it come to life so badly.
Right.
And it's difficult to do sometimes because reading is such a personal experience, and your own imagination feeds so much into what you see when you read a book. And there's no way we can have an infinite number of experiences for people as they do when they read the books. So we were really conscious in creating this series and trying to find a way to honor the source material and really create a world that fans would respond to, but also make enough changes to give them a fresh perspective on these characters in the show, so that even if they'd read the book a million times, they could sort of have a new experience and a way that they could get excited and be surprised by things.
Right.
And I give a huge credit to the fandom because they were so welcoming to us and so accepting, and they were willing to trust us with this story that they love so much and come on the journey with us.
Yeah, the Shadow fam is huge, right? And I mean, because they can. You're like you said that they are very intent on what they believe the character should be. So casting is so crucial in these things, I think, and the concern that you guys have of pulling off these characters accurately for the fandom. I think you guys all did a brilliant job on that series. It took off. I mean, it was a massive hit the first season. It was huge, and it did go over really well with fandom. And I think that has a lot to do with yourself and your fellow castmates because of the passion you showed each week on that show. I think it was just brilliant.
Oh, thank you so much. I mean, that cast, that crew, the fandom as well, it really is a family. But, the casting crew in particular, I've never been a part of a production where every single department and every single person is so passionate about the story that we're telling and about collaborating with each other and pushing each other to be better every day and to make a show that's really special because we love to tell stories. And that was such a fun environment to be a part of and such a creative space. And those are my boys, those are my brothers, and I love them to death. And I did that show from the time I was 19 to the time I was 23.
Right.
I feel like I really grew up on that set. That's such a transformative period of a person's life, and I was so lucky to be surrounded by so many people that were creative and wonderful people in that sense, but also just great human beings. But truly, in telling the story, we all had our own path with it, but we each were really committed. And some of us read all the books like I did, and, other people found other routes of really connecting with their characters. And it was amazing to watch everybody come together to create this story.
What was the audition process like? Was it pretty extensive? I mean, was it a cast pretty wide to find the right people for these roles?
It was long. It was very long. And, but rightly so. It makes a big difference. But I remember going through this process, and I'm pretty sure they saw every girl between the ages of 15 and 35 for this character.
Wow.
Because I was in those rooms with all of them. But it was interesting as it got down to it. When I first read the pilot for the show, it's a lot of projects. When I read them, there is, as you said, so much rejection, and
Sure.
and part of the fun of auditioning for me is the spontaneity of it. So you create a character for a little bit, and then you forget about it. You go, I go in the room, I do the work. That's my little performance in the audition, and then you have to let it go, because if it's meant for you, it comes back to you, and if not, there's something else out there, and it wasn't meant to be. But with this, there's certain projects you read, and you go, this one's mine. I have to fight for this one. There's something in me that's telling me that I have to do this. And as soon as I read the pilot for Shadowhunters, I instantly connected with Clary. I knew what I wanted to do with her. I knew the potential for growth and where I wanted to take her. And I just saw it. And there was something in me that went, okay, this I have to do. I cannot take no for an answer on this. And, Dom Sherwood, who played Jace on the show, he and I had been friends before, any of Shadowhunters happened. And when I read the pilot, I couldn't help but go, gosh, Dom would be so good for Jace. Well, and then Dom was cast.
Right.
And I went, well, okay, now I have to do this.
Exactly.
Because there's no other way that this is, this is going to work in the world, because it's meant to be. And it turned out it was. And little things like that kept happening. I walked into the audition room one day, and I was in the audition process with Alberto Rosende, who played Simon Lewis. They were doing Simons and Clary's at the same time. And I walked into the room, and I looked around, and I saw Alberto for the first time and went, well, there's Simon Lewis. Jeez, they
Nice.
found a better guy if they tried. They made him in a lab. And it turned out, he and I started chatting and instantly had this kind of banter. And all these little things just ended up falling into place. And, I can't help but think that there was some kind of universal force guiding this show.
Oh, absolutely. And 19, and you're going for the lead. I mean, you knew you were reading for her, correct?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
No, I knew full well, and it was daunting, I have to say. When you're coming into a show and you go, all right, well, I'm in this position where I'm, sort of the Harry Potter of this world.
Definitely.
I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm gonna figure it out, and I do give a lot of credit to, the cast really bonded together as a whole, and we had some really incredible, really seasoned people. We had Isaiah Mustafa, who's been in this industry forever.
Oh, yeah.
And Harry Shum Jr., who had just been through Glee. And the two of them really, I would have coffee with one or both of them a couple times a month, just outside of work, and go, okay, I have all these questions. How do I handle these situations? What am I doing? What do I need to be doing? Just to help me out here. And, I really, really, they've been such great mentors to me throughout this process.
That is fantastic. And so it wraps up, and you step right into your next fandom. It's like, with Arrow. I gotta ask. We were both curious. We were talking about this before you called in, and we were interested because we've had a lot of Marvel stars on, and we know that their casting process is like this uber secretive. You're ushered into a room. You have no idea what you're reading for, kind of a thing. Was it that same way with the DC side of it? Did you know what you were reading for when you went in for Arrow, or who you were reading for? What was the casting on that one like?
So it was very interesting because I had just found out that Shadowhunters had been canceled, and I was sort of in the mourning process for that, as well as having fun auditioning again. And Arrow was maybe my second audition back from not being able to audition for anything, really.
Right.
And so I was just getting into it and starting to have fun, really diving into things. And I get this audition, and David Rappaport, who's the casting director, I've known him for a long time. He's really incredible. I sent it over, and they're like, look, we've been looking for this character for a while. She's this, badass rookie cop who has a dark past, but it really has a lot of spunk and attitude. And we really think, we want to find somebody special because she's going to have an arc on the show and maybe, have a future there. And I said, okay, great. Well, I've been playing a superhero. Now let me go into the world of Arrow and play a cop.
Sure,
That's very different and interesting. And so I go in and I read the scenes with Beth and some of the showrunners, and, I'm sitting there. We have a lovely little conversation. I was sick as well because I had just come back from a Comic-Con in Australia and had lost my voice.
Oh, that's never good.
So I had no voice really, and I was trying to do this audition, and, we play with the scenes and have a lot of fun, and then I leave, and a couple weeks later, I find out that I'm cast in it and that I've gotten the part. I'm like, great, awesome, rookie cop. Let me start doing research about, the training that cops go through.
Sure.
And the kind of education they have, and just so I know the mindset and the purview, and I'm, talking to my uncle who's a state trooper and trying to, get all of this information. Then I get a call from Beth Schwartz.
Yeah, not so much a cop, right?
No, she calls me and she goes, hey, Kat, so nice to meet you. Congratulations. We're so happy to have you on the show. By the way, everything you know is a lie. Her name's not Jessie or whatever it was. She's not a rookie cop. We don't really know what her name's going to be yet. We don't know a lot about her, but we just wanted to let you know that you're Oliver and Felicity's kid.
Oh
man.
Yeah.
I'm going, wait, hold on. I'm what now?
Yeah. I can only imagine. And then, of course, Stephen and Emily have spent so much time building these characters, and they're so, beloved and now you find out, oh, man, I'm their kid. How am I going to fall into that?
Exactly.
Because, I will say, though, great casting, because if Emily and Stephen were to have a kid, you would be it. I think the casting was brilliant.
It's very eerie, and yes, you're exactly right, because of course once, Twitter got hold of it and once they started to figure it out, there are all these fan edits that come out of me edited between Stephen and Emily, and or pictures of photo shoots that Emily and I have done that are somewhat similar, and Emily and I used to talk about it all the time, how eerie it is how much we look alike and how much I look like, the combination of the two of them.
It really is.
I take it as a compliment because they're both extremely attractive individuals. But, going back to finding out the news, with Shadowhunters, we had Malik, which was our, Magnus and Alec, and Harry Shum Jr. and Matt Dario had this couple on the show.
Right.
That ran like wildfire.
Yep.
But Felicity was always in that same realm when anybody was talking about fandom ships, as the kids say.
Absolutely.
And so I knew how beloved Felicity was, and I knew sort of the the work that Stephen and Emily had put in and the love that it had been creating that relationship and those characters. So immediately I said, all right, well, I'm watching at the time 6 seasons of Arrow just so I can glean whatever I can of mannerisms and character qualities and what their relationship really was and sort of the intricacies of what their child could be.
Sure.
And that was pretty much the education that I needed, because it gave me so much. I mean, there's so much in those characters to kind of mine, and then with the backstory that the showrunners gave me and the welcome that Stephen and Emily gave me when I got to set, it really was a dream of a process.
That's okay. I'm glad you said that. The welcome because what's it like? I sometimes I can imagine it would be pretty rough, and then like you just said, you were welcomed with open arms, and I mean, coming into a show that's 7 years in and so established and has such a fandom. I mean, I would imagine that's got to be something, you know, a little bit nervous to go into, right? And it's got to help that they were welcoming.
100%. I mean, it sort of feels like the transfer student coming into the senior year of high school. You know, the family's so established and everybody gets along so well, and there's already a system, and people, you know, are so used to working with each other. You really don't know what you're stepping into. And I remember I was on set for some fittings and a hair and makeup meeting, and I stepped into the hair and makeup trailer, and Steven was in there. And I don't know how much you guys have seen of Arrow, but there's an episode in the prison in season 7 that it's entirely a fight scene, and Steven just gets beat up the entire episode. And he equally kicks butt back.
Of course.
You know, as is the case with Arrow, the heroes get hit in the face as much as they hit other people in the face, which I love. I think it's amazing, and it's one of my favorite things about the show. But I walked into the trailer, and Steven was there getting more blood put on his face or something or other. And, you know, he was clearly exhausted and had been at it all day. As soon as he saw me, he immediately jumped out of the chair, ran over, gave me a huge hug, and goes, "I'm your dad!" Took me around set and introduced me to everyone, and just instantly made me feel as though I belonged there.
That's great.
And that was the best way to kind of start my journey with Arrow.
Oh, that's a great story, because, and it's good to hear, because in season 7, you know, there wasn't supposed to be a season 8. I mean, he was ready to go and ready. I mean, so to hear him so enthusiastically jump up and be excited and have such passion for it still going into season 7 is great to hear. Let's talk about that for a little bit. I mean, the entire Arrowverse is built on this guy's shoulders.
Yeah.
Like,
it's true.
I mean, so that's got to be like just this unbelievable feeling that this man has to see everything playing out the way it's played out.
Yeah, it's really been amazing. I didn't get to work with him much in season 7, given that I was 20 years in the future.
Exactly.
But I got to work with him a lot in season 8, and you know, having done Shadowhunters for 4 years, I've been in his position, and I know what it's like to have to carry that kind of workload and play host to directors and guest stars and people, and just sort of, you know, when you're in that position, you feel responsible for everyone's well-being as well, and you set the tone for set. So I really appreciate how he kind of ran things and the respect that he gave everyone, and the attention to detail that he gave to the show.
Absolutely.
It was such a joy to work with him, because he really does care about the show and really wants it to be the best it can possibly be, and has a level of taste that kind of exceeds most people that have been doing shows for as long as he has.
Sure. And were you super excited to find out you were going to be in the crossover, the big Crisis event?
Oh, I was so excited. And actually, the way I found out is because the wardrobe designer came up to me and goes, "Hey, we need to schedule a fitting for you at the leather shop." And I said, "Okay. Are they making me a new jacket?" She goes, "Well, they're making you a suit.
Uh-oh.
It's going to be revealed in the Supergirl episode of the crossover." And so instantly I was like, wait a minute. First of all, you're making me a super suit. And second of all, I'm going to be in the crossover?
Like, oh my goodness.
Oh, that's so good. And Crisis, I mean, it's huge.
Yeah.
You asked, I don't know how much you've seen of Arrow. Well, huge comic book geeks and huge Arrow geeks, and just for my whole life. So I was a huge fan of the Crisis comic books and the whole storyline storyline and the whole thing. So when I heard that was going to be the crossover, I was excited for sure. I just thought they did a brilliant job. Your storyline in Crisis and how it sets up everything, and we're going to talk about that in just a second, but how it sets up what's going to happen with you in the future, just brilliant. I thought the crossover was brilliant.
Oh, thank you. I was so grateful that they gave me so much to do in the crossover. I was just happy to be at the party and just be there to work with everyone. It's such a fun group of individuals, and just getting to know everybody a little better. I've known Tyler Hoechlin for a long time, and I've met a few other people before, like Katie Lotz shadowed as a director last year, so I got to see her and hang out with her a little bit, and I'd met Grant a few times. So, getting to know everyone more was so great. But then also, it's one of those moments that you have as an actor occasionally when you work on things that are sort of fantastical.
Right.
Where you're standing on set and you look around, you're standing in a superhero suit yourself, and you're looking around and there's a couple of Supermen and the Green Arrow and the Flash and Batwoman and
Sure.
the White Canary, and you're just kind of going, how is this my job?
Right?
How is this what I get to do for a living every day? It's bananas, and it's beyond. I'm just beyond grateful. But it's so fun.
Yeah, I can only imagine. I'm amongst so many people probably that are so jealous to stand on that with that, like you said, everybody in costume, and you're literally straight out of the pages of a comic book. It's got to be pretty epic.
Yeah, the irony of it on this crossover in particular is the first, and I couldn't talk about this for a long time because it was such a spoiler, but my first day in the super suit and my first real day on set with everybody in their suits was the day we shot Steven's death scene in
Yes.
And so I get to set in my suit for the first time, and I'm so excited, and everybody else is in their suits, and then I go, oh, dang it, now I have to cry.
Yeah. This is not cool. Oh, man. So, yeah, I kind of want to talk about that because the whole season 7 arc, they set up this brilliant backstory for Mia. Mia Smoke, by the way. And you're raised by your mom in a cabin, and you're trained by Nisa Azghul, and you're like this. You have this whole history and everything, and then you find out in Crisis they're gonna wipe all that out. You're not gonna remember any of that yet, and your whole thing is gonna change, because of what Oliver does and what he tries to rebuild when he sacrifices himself. Talk about that a little bit. What was it like to have like this whole backstory, and you have this character that you know where she comes from, what she's about, how she's dealing with these people, JJ and all the people in her life and everything, and then it's going to all flip and change. What was that like?
It was really interesting, actually, because we had spent so much time taking Mia from this really closed off, unemotional fighter and building her as a human being.
Right.
And it usually happens the opposite. With Clary, especially, it happened the opposite way. You have a human being, and she became a fighter. And then with Mia, you had a fighter, and she became a human being. And it's very interesting to kind of see that change and to have built everything up. And she had such, hang-ups with the abandonment and the resentment she had toward her father that she got to work through, and the relationship with her brother that she got to build, and everything that happened, getting established with Barry and with Sarah Lance,
right,
and all these characters that she got to form bonds with, and then to strip all of that away, it gave me a moment of pause because I had to go, well, wait a minute. We've spent 2 years building this character. Let's not, we can't just take her away.
Exactly.
So then, in talking with the showrunners and the writers of the show, we really collaborated and found a way to find the Mia in the new Mia. Because she's still ultimately, yes, even though she was raised in a world where she's a socialite and
right,
she has had every privilege and a happy childhood with her brother and her mother, and really has not known any sorrow or loss or hardship in her life. She wasn't a fighter. She was still raised by Felicity.
Yep.
She's
Exactly.
still the same cunning, smart, cutting girl that we know and love.
Yep.
She's just a little lost. She hasn't found her passion. She hasn't found that thing that lights the fire in her soul yet.
Right.
And she just is kind of floating and trying to figure out how to live in the shadow of her father and how to live up to his legacy, and what on earth can she do to do that.
Exactly. And I love that you use that terminology, live in the shadow of her father, because let's talk about the backdoor pilot. Huge congratulations on Green Arrow and the Canaries, because highest rated episode of the season, non-crossover. So huge congrats on that.
Thank you.
Absolutely loved it. And thanks to Cisco Martian Manhunter magic, you got some of those memories about Dad back and Crisis back. Spoilers, by the way, for anybody who's listening who hasn't watched it. Sorry. But you get those memories back. I thought you did a really fantastic job of what you just said. Here's this woman who's now kind of lost. She has this whole life that she remembers, but she also now has this past that she remembers that she's got to try to work into it. And what's going on. The whole JJ thing alone is like throwing her off. The cliffhanger right there. But the terminology that you said, standing, because there's literally at the end, you're in the shadow of your dad's giant statue, and you're like trying to, what am I going to do here?
Little visual storytelling there.
Absolutely.
Right.
Well, that was really the fun of shooting the pilot and figuring out this new Mia, because we had old Mia. You had Mia 1.0,
right?
And then we had Mia 2.0, which is post-crisis Mia, and then you have Mia 3.0, which is this woman who has these two sets of memories, these two realities living in her head, both of which she's emotionally attached to.
Exactly.
And the fun of that then is figuring out, okay, well, how does she then interact with the world around her, and which set of instincts is going to take over depending on the situation.
Right, and you were conflicted that whole time. What was some of the terminology you were saying to the Black Canaries? You were like, I don't even know if I remember how to fight. How I'm supposed to go out there and kick some ass? I don't even know if I can. And I thought that was brilliant. Another one of my favorite lines, though, and I think this comes from you in real life, I hope, because it seems so very much as like when you walk in and you're like, what, a socialite can have a brain too? Like when you reference the Harvard thing, I just thought that was hilarious.
Oh, thanks. It actually was not my addition to the script, but I do think it's something that it's very important, because we have these stereotypes of the socialite character and
right.
This and that, and Mia doesn't fit into any stereotype, especially not at this point in her character development. But I think the most fun with this is that Mia was very capable as a fighter and as a vigilante before. She could pretty much punch her way out of anything.
Right.
But she was a bit lacking when it dealt with social graces and personal relationships and, maybe handling things with tact as opposed to violence. But now we have this woman who was raised in the world of tact and social graces. And she has a full toolbox of how to handle people and how to handle Star City and access to everything in that world. And so it really just expands Mia's purview and gives her more of an emotional maturity that matches her fighting skills. So it makes her even more adept at taking care of the city that she loves so much.
Absolutely. I got to tell you, as a fan, I love hearing you talk. You can clearly tell your passion for the character. You have this deep understanding of the character, and I'm so excited. I would have to imagine, especially after the ratings of the episode, that the CW is going to greenlight this thing and you're going to get picked up to series. I think it's going to be brilliant. You're a great Green Arrow. Katie and Julianne are just awesome as the Canaries. I just think it's a brilliant cast, and I'm hoping for the very best. I hope we get this thing picked up and it goes for a long time.
Oh, thank you so much. It's a lot of fun, and the Green Arrow has such a legacy to it, and I'm a huge fan of what Steven's done and of the Green Arrow as a character, and I think it's something really interesting because there is such a darkness to it, as well as a heroism, and it leaves me a lot to play with.
Oh, absolutely. Well, we're all huge fans. So you're good to go in this podcast, and with our fan base, you're good to go. We're going to be backing you up the whole way.
Definitely.
Oh, thanks so much.
Of course. And we'd also like to talk a little bit about your charity work, because you support a lot of organizations like Girls Up, Stomp Out Bullying, Children's Hospital of Los Angeles, so many other things. Like, what's that like, just being a part of something that helps so many other people?
Well, it's that. My passion for that, I would have to say, comes a lot from my family, given that a lot of them are in the health and medical and science industries. It's all about, what can you do to help other people? And with what I do and the way the world is today, where actors have also become advocates and through social media have been given a bit of a voice, I don't want to waste that. I have an opportunity to make a statement and to give voice and to give credence to things that matter that people might not know about, or the issues that go forgotten in the world. And I'd like to do everything I can to support those things. Grow Up for me is one that's really important because it's the UN Foundation's Young Women's Empowerment Organization.
Right.
And they do such fantastic work all over the world in solving health and education and opportunity issues for women all over the world. And what's so unique about Grow Up is that they provide platforms for girls in developed countries to help girls in developing countries. So not only are they making a difference and having a massive success rate in their initiatives, but they're also giving kids the opportunity to make a difference in the world at a young age. And I know that's something I always wanted to do as a kid. I always wanted to make a difference and really do something big, but I never knew how, growing up in Missouri, I could affect change across the world.
Right.
And they're giving kids that chance and also instilling those values in them that they can take into adulthood. And I just think that's so important.
Absolutely, and wisely chose you as an ambassador. So good to go for them. That's kudos to that. I think we need so many more people like you in the world who are willing to go out and do stuff like that because it is needed. And for you to be in a position that you're in and do that is a wonderful thing.
Oh, thank you. Well, I'm following in the footsteps of many people that have done that before me. Another organization that I have gotten involved with that's sort of very close to my heart is the Big Slick, and it was started by Paul Rudd and David Koechner, Rob Riggle, Will Forte, Jason Sudeikis, Eric Stonestreet, all of whom are from Kansas City, where I'm from.
Right?
And it's to support the local children's hospital there, who do so many amazing things for families and don't charge if the families can't pay for care, and they're just really there to serve the community, and they do such incredible things. But I've been a part of this organization for the last few years, and last year we had our 10th anniversary, and when they totaled everything up, not only did we raise $2.5 million in that weekend.
Whoa, there you go.
Going to play with kids at the hospital, playing a softball game in the Major League Stadium, a big variety show and live auction in the 5,000-seat Sprint Center there. But over the last 10 years, they've raised over $10 million for this hospital.
Oh, wow.
And what the whole big event, it only lasts for a weekend, but they bring back friends and people they've worked with and things from, people from LA and New York in the industry that will volunteer their time to go to the middle of the country for a weekend and hang out with kids and play and be silly and do a variety show and just have fun to raise money for a good cause. So you really end up with this incredible amalgamation of entertainers who are just there to, do something good for the world and have a good time and hang out with people that they really enjoy.
Absolutely.
And it's such an amazing environment, and I'm just trying to follow in their footsteps and continue this thing.
Oh, I got to tell you, if there was one word somebody asked me to describe you with, it would be passion. From talking about the shows you've been involved with to education to now the charity event, you have such passion in your voice when you speak of these things. It's amazing to see somebody like that have so much passion at a young age with so many different things in life. It's so refreshing to see.
Oh, thank you so much. I mean, I'm very busy, and I do so many different things, but I really am passionate about them all, and I give my time to the things that I think are really important and the things that I really care about, and I'm also a stubborn optimist, so that I think is also part of it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Positive vibes. It's always good
Exactly.
to be. So, what do you have coming up? What you got going on? You're going to be a part of The Stand, right?
Yes. I have a few other irons in the fire, but The Stand is the next thing that's coming up. We're shooting that right now, and I can't say much about it other than, a lot of the cast has been released as to who's a part of it. And
yeah.
I'm a huge Stephen King fan, almost if not maybe more so than I am a fan of other fandoms. It's among my, top 5 fandoms, as it were. And I am just so thrilled to be a part of it, but also to be on set and see that everyone else is so into creating this world and to going to the dark side and really seeing what we can make of it and how we can bring it to life in a really innovative and new and fun way where it's such a rich world, and they're really giving us every resource creatively that we need to really maximize our opportunity and make a show that's going to be so special and so rich and just it really bring the book to life in an amazing way.
Awesome. There's that passion again.
Exactly. I mean, that's just great to hear. To be so passionate about all the projects you like. But what we like to do at the end of every interview is, because like we said at the beginning, it's all about helping others break into the entertainment industry. So what advice would you give an actor, director, writer, anything like that, trying to break into the entertainment industry, and what pitfalls would you say to try to avoid?
I would give two main pieces of advice, and I think the first thing is make sure you really love it, and make sure that it's the thing that gets you out of bed in the morning, and it's the one thing that you want to do more than anything else, and the thing that you feel as though you have to do for the rest of your life. Because it's not always easy. You know, it looks like a glamorous life, and it looks, you know, always wonderful, and if you have that passion, it is. But, you know, there are times where you're covered in fake blood and sweat, and it's 4 a.m. and you're out in the cold in Canada.
Absolutely.
Or you maybe have heard, you know, 70 no's out of 80 auditions, or 80 no's out of 80 auditions, and it has nothing to do with you. It just has to do with how the industry works. And it's those times that if you have the passion for it and the tenacity and know that this is what you have to do with your life, that will get you through, and it will still be fun even in the more in the downs of the up and down roller coaster that this is.
Absolutely.
But the other thing I would always say is, and then this is also kind of how the pitfalls to avoid, make sure you never lose that quality that makes you who you are and makes you unique and makes you different.
Yes.
Because, you know, this industry often tries to put people in boxes and to put people into categories that, you know, have been predetermined by what is quote unquote typical.
Right.
But the thing that makes art and passion and creativity are coloring outside the lines and finding those ways to stand out. And, you know, each person has something so unique that they can offer the world. And especially when you're doing something creative, you just can't lose that. And through that, you'll find the people that love that about you and that want to help you foster that, and that you can help them foster their special qualities, and then it becomes this really beautiful community where you can be there for each other no matter how things are going for anyone, good, bad, or indifferent.
Absolutely. Wow. Fantastic advice. I think that's great advice. I think a lot of people are going to take that to heart and listen to that. I mean, it doesn't get any better than that. Where can people follow you? Because we want people to have more advice like that, and we want people to follow you. Tell them where they can find you on social media.
You can find me at cat_McNamara on Twitter, cat.McNamara on Instagram, and I think it's official Katherine McNamara on Facebook.
Awesome, and we will make sure to direct everybody there for sure. Listen, thank you so much for coming on the show and chatting with us. You have been an absolute gem. Really just one of the most passionate, exuberant, fun guests we've had.
Yeah.
It's just been a pleasure.
Oh, thank you so much. I'm actually really excited, too, because I'm a huge podcast nerd, and now I have another podcast to listen to.
Awesome. Yeah, go check it out. We've had a lot of fun with a lot of people, and you're just like, it just added to the list, and we couldn't be more happy that you are.
Oh, my pleasure. Thank you so much, you guys.
You too. Have a great one now.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Wow, just what an intelligent individual.
Dude, 25.
I know.
For anybody out there who thinks I'm too young or I can't figure it out in my early 20s, 13 she started.
Exactly.
And I mean, come on, man.
She knew from a very young age.
Yeah, you said it, though. Very educated, very well-spoken, and clearly this woman has taken a passion for everything in her life and just has drive, like, coming out, though. I don't know what, man. It's awesome.
Yeah,
she reminds me of you, bro.
No.
A young guy who has a lot of passion and fights for what he wants and doesn't take no for an answer. I mean,
inspired
you
to be
see,
like Katherine McNamara.
But I'm telling you, man, listen, J-Lo fantastic, Katherine McNamara, you can do it at a young age, guys and gals. If you're listening, it's inspiring. Do it. Get out there. Chase some dreams.
Just do it.
Do it.
Do it. Thank you again, Katherine McNamara, for coming on the show.
All right, now it is time for our top 5 segment, and oh man, everybody loves going to the movie theater. We love going to the movie theater with our Regal Unlimited app. So good, we use it like almost every week, so we appreciate that.
Sometimes multiple times during the week.
Yeah,
hence
exactly.
unlimited.
Exactly. It's so good. It's Movie Pass without all the bullshit.
That's right.
Honestly.
Which finally, did we leave that one little out? That little tidbit. They finally filed bankruptcy. Just go the fuck away,
Right.
Movie Pass. Go away.
Bank fluffly. But you know.
Regal, though, see, they got their shit together. We saw the promo for Regal last night, Regal Unlimited
really
on
good.
the screen. So the superheroes.
Yeah.
It's a superhero pushing Regal Unlimited.
Yeah.
It was badass.
Yeah, they know
got
how
their
to
shit
capitalize.
together.
They know how to capitalize. But this week, the top 5 segment is top 5 movie snacks. What do you grab when you are at the concession stands about to go into the latest and greatest flicks? Personally,
That was well done.
thank you. Personally, my top 5, the least I grab, but every once in a while, Sour Patch Kids, especially the watermelon ones. Those are my bomb. Then I got popcorn, of course, the classic popcorn. Who can't watch movies with popcorn? I mean, even at home, we're popping popcorn on.
I love popcorn.
on the stove or in the microwave,
Popcorn.
whichever. Or I love a popcorn.
I love a popcorn. The
then
smell of tasty butter.
Then I got M&M's because I'm a huge chocolate fan, which brings me to Bunch of Crunch, which is my Crunch bars are my favorite candy bar. So
There you
Bunch
go.
of Crunch is just perfect. And my all-time number 1 is Twizzlers. I'm
Yes.
a huge fan of Twizzlers. Delicious.
Delicious. I'm not, and really never have been like a huge candy fan at the movies.
Yeah.
I'm just, I'm not a huge candy fan anyway. I mean, there's some, I like the chewy stuff, but just not a huge candy fan. So I lean the other way. I will go for a slice of pizza occasionally.
yeah.
Number 5, pizza. Pickles.
No.
I love movie theater pickles.
Do they sell pickles?
They do, yeah. They're like those giant dill pickles,
Yeah.
bro. They're like, they're really good.
Did not know that.
Although, you better be ready because
Yeah.
that eye goes all
Right.
twitching and like there's some serious dill in them dill pickles at the
Yeah.
movie theater. And of course, like you said, popcorn.
Yeah.
Who doesn't want a hot dog?
Like,
A little good, but hot dog, it's good if you're a little hungry. But the go-to for me is always nachos and cheese. Nachos with cheese, and for me, the jalapenos on top.
Yeah.
You gotta have the jalapenos or it's just not the same.
Yeah.
You can mix it up. You can do those Dorito nachos that they have now at the theaters with the cheese or just your regular nachos or whatever, but you gotta throw jalapenos on there.
Gotta have the jalapeno.
Gotta have the jalapenos, otherwise it's not nachos and cheese.
Oh my goodness.
All right, that's pretty good snacks.
Yeah.
Now I'm hungry, fuck.
I know, shit. What are we having for breakfast?
That's right.
Now it is time for the box office recap. Oh man, a lot of good content out. And the first one is the one that just keeps on chugging, which we still need to go see. We just got a text message from Tavia. Everybody remembers Tavia from our
Yes.
previous episodes, our writer at Crazy Ant Media. Shout out to her. She just said that Bad Boys for Life is cinematically beautiful. The DP was on point, and that it was just a great story. So
Wow.
we got to go see it, man.
That sounds like we do.
Hell yeah. But yeah, Bad Boys for Life, number 1, with 34 million. I only predicted 25 to 30 million, so it outdid my predictions. Go you. Number 2 was 1917, which I got wrong. I flip-flopped with number 3. It came in with 15.9 million. Number 3 was Doolittle with 12.1 million. Number 4 was The Gentleman, which I thought was going to be number 3, but our number 4 or number 5 numbers. It came in with 10.6 million, and Jumanji Next Level, which I didn't even think was going to be in the top 5, but that is also one that just keeps on chugging.
Oh, yeah.
With 7.7 million. So only one I got right was number 1, but I got the few that were in the top 5. So 4 out of the 5 that were in the top 5. So it's all good. It's all good.
Yeah.
But yeah, good content out, guys. Good content out. We got movies you can still go see. I mean, you got The Turning, which is with Finn Wolfhard there from Stranger Things.
Yeah, that
looks
creepy-ass horror movie,
creepy,
yeah.
The Gentleman, which we saw last night, which was really freaking good, man. And to talk about an original story.
I mean, seriously, and if you're a cinephile, if you love film,
Yeah.
you will love it, because the entire film, the premise, it's basically a pitch.
Yeah.
This guy is making a film pitch to Miramax, and he's telling this gangster story. It's brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant. Yeah, I think you guys will love it.
Agreed. I mean, of course, Jumanji: The Next Level, Frozen 2, Knives Out still in some theaters.
Also brilliant.
Bombshell still in some
Also
theaters.
brilliant.
Star Wars: Rise of Skywalker.
So fantastic.
Like a Boss.
Haven't seen it.
And now, 1917, Bad
Wanna see
Boys
it.
for Life, Just Mercy, Doolittle, and I mean, so much stuff.
Yeah.
Especially
Guys,
Just Mercy.
do yourself a favor. Go see non-tentpole films.
Yeah.
Go see Just Mercy. Go see Bombshell. Go see, if you can still find it, Motherless Brooklyn. See Knives Out. See The Gentleman. These are brilliant films, guys. If you're truly a movie lover, go see these movies, because they're entertaining. They're great stories, great acting. Just like, I feel like, give them a chance,
Agreed.
And then J-Lo will get them all right next time,
Yeah,
because they'll actually be making money. And then,
Exactly. The money they deserve, man.
Exactly.
The money they
Go
deserve.
see these films.
New movies that we got coming out. The Rhythm section with Blake Lively, where she's basically a badass.
Oh, yeah.
So that one looks really good. And Gretel and Hansel with the girl from the latest It reincarnation. She's in this one. This one looks pretty creepy as well. So, I mean, like I said, there's some good scary movies that look like are out right now.
Yeah,
so go check those out.
Definitely. It's so funny, because Blumhouse kind of like just reinvigorated the horror industry,
They
right?
have.
Like, and everybody's just been kind of like, killing it with it. And yet now everybody jumped on his bandwagon, and they're pushing out all these horror
Yeah.
movies, and he's had a couple of flops.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
like, oh shit, I reinvented this thing, and it was huge. And now everybody's capitalizing, and I'm kind of like, oh shit.
Oh, damn.
So hopefully
is.
it turns around for Bloomberg, because he's a great producer and a great
Agreed.
filmmaker. But I just thought that was funny. He's like brought horror back,
Right.
And now everybody's doing horror, and he's kind of missing. So
Agreed. Number one, I think, will still be Bad Boys for Life with around 15 to 20 million. Number two, I think, will be 1917 with around 5 to 10 million. Number three, I think, will be Doolittle with around 5 to 10 million. Those two are going to be on each other's heels. Number four, I think, will be the Rhythm section with 5 to 10 million. And number five, I think, will be Gretel and Hansel with around 3 to 5 million. So let's see what happens, man.
yeah,
Hopefully
man,
it's
that's
better
gonna
next
be
week.
that's a tricky week.
It is.
I mean, it is. It just like I always feel like between January and March, trying to predict what's going to happen at the box office is a nightmare,
It's
man.
rough.
It's a horror movie.
Yeah, exactly.
It's hard, man.
Exactly. A recent Blumhouse horror movie.
That's right. Oh man.
Just kidding, man. We love you. Come on
Hopefully
the show.
Fantasy Island does well.
Yeah,
we
right.
love Lucy Hale. Come on the show, Lucy. I missed you in New Orleans at New Year's this year. It was horrible. I hope it does well for him.
Yeah, was she at New Orleans? I thought she's the
No,
one that
she was
got
in New
moved
York.
up.
That's what I'm saying. She went to New York this
Yeah.
time. But for the last 2 or 3 years, and I was in New Orleans, and she was there, and it was great. But now she's in New York, moving up.
Moving on up. Good for her. Good for her.
Come on the show.
Right? Like, now it is time for the IMDb Pro Top Trending segment. Oh, man, this whole show is because of IMDb Pro. We love this freaking thing.
Dude, everybody loves it, right? We got a great interview with Runaways, Marvel's Runaways. Kevin Weissman coming up references it in the interview, right?
Yep.
We're watching Kevin Smith on fucking Seth Meyers last night. He says, I consulted IMDb. Like, guys, everybody fucking loves
Exactly.
IMDb. It don't matter whether you're us, whether you're superstars, whether you're not even in the industry or could get. Everybody fucking loves IMDb.
Exactly. If you're an up-and-comer in the entertainment industry, you need to have this app. It is so worth it, man. So worth it.
It is, seriously. It's like the best $20 a month I spend.
Agreed.
Like, I mean, it is.
Agreed.
That commercial for IMDb Pro brought to you by.
Brought to you by Inside the Crazy Ant Farm. Top trending movie this week is 1917. Been hearing a lot of good things about this one, man. Sam Mendes just killing it. So, I mean, really got to check this one out. Top trending TV show on Netflix is Sex Education, which apparently is pretty good. I've heard things from like word of mouth that it's pretty good.
Got picked back up, so I
Yeah.
mean, I'm guessing it's so funny because in the rundown I didn't say because it's separated for whatever reason. I just top TV show sex.
Yeah.
I'm like, what the fuck? I haven't heard this. What TV show is this? Like, but then I saw education.
Yeah. People are horny motherfuckers.
That's
so.
true. I mean, would it be surprising if the top TV show was sex?
Right.
No, it wouldn't be.
No.
Hosted by Dr. Ruth Westheimer.
Right, exactly.
You're insert
Oh my goodness.
How will you get to the top of the ratings?
Oh my goodness. The top trending star is Annabella
Annabella Sciorra, and kind of feel bad now about making sex jokes, and because I think the reason that Annabella is trending right now at the top is because she just testified about being raped by Harvey Weinstein.
Oh, really?
And was at the trial or whatever. So
that's crazy.
Gotta stop making victims the bad guys.
Agreed.
It's Harvey Weinstein's the fucking dipshit bad guy.
Agreed.
Like let's keep it that way.
Agreed. Well, anyway, guys, thank you so much for tuning in and getting crazy with us on Inside the Crazy Amp.
Wow, man.
Yeah, thanks for letting us put in our 2 cents because we have a platform to do it. And
that's right.
Of course, we're just going to say the right upstanding things to say. Thank you again to our guests for coming on the show, Katherine McNamara. Oh my gosh, what a phenomenal interview that was, and I'm sure all the fans really enjoyed it because she's just such an upbeat, positive person, like you said earlier. Amazing person. So glad we got to talk to her.
Shining example of a woman in charge.
Yeah.
Talk about women empowerment, brought up properly by women. It goes out, girl up, all the kind of stuff she talked about in the interview. Just like good for her.
Definitely.
We need more like her.
Definitely. Make sure to follow her on social media at Katherine McNamara on Twitter and Instagram. Be sure to follow us on social media, the company and podcast at Crazy Ant Media all over social media platforms, and us personally, myself at JLo Fantastic and
Crazy Ant Guy 1970.
That's right. And be sure to subscribe to this podcast anywhere you listen to your podcast. We're on Anchor, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Play Music, iHeartRadio, YouTube, and many more, guys. We are everywhere. Be sure to subscribe everywhere.
Yes.
Be sure to visit our website, crazyantmedia.com, where we have the latest and greatest Crazy Ant Media gear. Just click on our merchandise tab and you can start shopping and looking a little crazy because, who doesn't want to look a little crazy every now and then?
We forgot. Oh my gosh, we forgot. I'm so glad you brought that back up. It's her birthday.
It was
her birthday yesterday. We got to give the shout out, right?
Yeah, exactly. Happy birthday, Oprah!